in the movie, since it's a movie, we don't need all the filler information.
Remember when like the first touchscreen phone came out, the first iPhone? Everyone was like, holy crap, like this is literally like a new technology.
Yeah.
But after that, it's just been, oh look, now this new phone has a fingerprint scanner. That's cool. This new phone has a face recognition. That's cool, but it's still the same technology that we're using. What do they call in the 1820s?
What?
In the 1820s, what was that called?
They didn't care about no damn 1820s.
What's up, YouTube? We're over here at the Gobuku Studios for episode 4 of the Bukucast. I got with me Jason over here.
Kito.
And I also got Mr. Kito on the other side. So, we're just going to get right into some more topics for the first Bukucast of 2020. Hope you guys are excited. We got plenty more content coming for you guys for the rest of the year. But yeah, we're just going to start off with the Bukucast. So, first topic I wanted to talk about. Next month, we got the grand old Sonic movie coming out. We know that we're all going to be watching it. I'm going to definitely be watching it. We're going to see what's going on. But what I wanted to say was they released like a new trailer for it. It's only in Japanese, but they're showing like a baby version of Sonic. So they're showing like an origin story. So this isn't so much for the movie itself, but I wanted to get your guys' thoughts on what do you think about like origin stories in movies? To me, it feels like they're kind of getting played out. Like it's just especially for characters that are so popular. Think about it for this movie in particular. The people who are watching it are people our age who know Sonic, or people our age who are bringing their kids who more than likely also play Sonic. So I feel like more than likely the people who are watching the movie already know who Sonic is.
Nobody knows who Sonic is.
And it's the same with other movies though. Like any superhero movie, mostly look at how Spider-Man did it with Homecoming. There was no origin story for that. It just went right in assuming you knew it. So what do you guys think about origin stories in movies?
I'll take it first just because I kind of agree with you. I say origin stories are played out for me. I totally agree with you. But if I'm going to be quite honest with you, I'm not the biggest Sonic fan. I did play Sonic games as a kid, honestly, because of you.
Okay.
And I know you're like a huge Sonic fan and everything, but to me, when I saw the first trailer for the Sonic movie, I was like, dude, I don't think I could watch this. I think the rest of the audience out there also agrees with me when they say like, you know, everything was not. I don't think the trailer was a good trailer. I'll watch it just because I know that I have to watch it, but I definitely do agree with you with origin stories being played out nowadays. I think that people need to become a little bit more original and start creating a little bit something different for everybody to watch, just because, you know, they need to give us that element of surprise. And I think that's what a lot of the things are missing nowadays, is that element of surprise that we're not used to. And then it catches us off guard and it's like, oh, that was pretty cool.
I like that a lot. Wait, what's your take on that?
I don't mind origin stories, especially for people that don't know who the freak Sonic is. You know what I'm saying? Most kids nowadays don't even know what the hell that is. But as long as you direct the origin story well and you don't drag it out too much, I don't see the problem, because it gives that, you know, that context about what's going on and stuff. And like, you know, like what if I went in to see the Sonic movie and I'm like, who the hell is Sonic? You know, I want me an origin story so I can tell what the hell I'm watching, you know?
Yeah, but look at like Detective Pikachu. That didn't have an origin story. You just assume that you know who Pikachu is. I mean, everyone plays Pokemon Go, right? Yeah. That's a thing. I mean, Sonic has so many mobile games. They're like some of the top downloaded ones, which is crazy to think about. But like, even for like superheroes, like I feel like superhero movies, they drag out the origin story for like a good 30 minutes of the film. And to me, I just get bored. Like, I mean, sometimes they make it interesting. Don't get me wrong. But a lot of the times, I just feel like, dude, I already know who this person is. At least a general idea of what they can do. And that's all I really want to see in the movie, is what they can do. Don't get me wrong. I like a good plot when there is one. But I'm not going to harp on the lore of the character and be like, you know, Aquaman came from this specific place in Atlantis and all this stuff. I don't really care about that.
You ain't a true fan. How do you?
No, it's not even like not being a true fan. But think about it like, okay, like I'll put it in anime like perspective. It's like, I think what RZ's trying to say is like, in the movie, since it's a movie, we don't need all the filler information.
That's what I'm saying. You
know, like, if you're watching a series of anime, I get it. Like, you know, there's a story behind everything, and that's what you want to see. Like, but if you have limited time when watching a movie, like, let's say movies usually take between an hour and a half to longest movie, probably like 3 hours and a half, right? Like, average, you really do not want to see a whole bunch of fillers in it. You don't want to see a whole bunch of talking. Yes, a general idea or information about the character or characters, main characters in the movie, or the whole series or whatever. That's great. But I think what we're looking for a little bit more is a little bit more action in the movie, something to entertain us and be like, wow, like, you know, I'd come watch this movie and do it again.
Yeah, because to me, like, movies, I mean, don't get me wrong, formulaic stuff works, but it's getting to the point where I just feel like, and I'm a video productions person, so like I've learned about like, oh, storytelling, how you're supposed to do all that stuff, but like even to me, I feel like I like the movies that, like you said, surprise you more, do stuff that's out of the box that you don't expect. So I mean, when it comes to like a series though,
that's what I was just gonna say is like, I think when it comes, and even if it's like a movie series, then it's okay. Like, I get it. Like, if your first movie is not gonna be as climatic, I guess you could say, as your next following movies, that's fine, because you're still like, if like let's put Marvel in there, right? Especially with the Avengers, like, there's still action in it, but I think Marvel did a fantastic job of explaining who the characters were. They each get their own movies, but then when it comes to actual like Marvel Avengers movies, you get a whole bunch of action, which is very, very nice.
Damn, that means we need a Super Smash Bros. Cinematic universe. Yeah, we got Detective Pikachu, now Sonic.
Damn.
We're gonna bring in Mario next?
Probably. Link.
Oh, I mean, honestly, that'd be pretty cool if the Sonic movie does well, and then Nintendo's like, "Yo, let's make a
Super Smash Bros." I think that'd be pretty.
And then
sick.
Every character has their own movie, and then they all come together, fight the Master Hand. Yo, I don't know. What are your thoughts on like the formulaic side of movies? Things that just, you know, they continuously repeat the same stuff over and over again. And does it bother you, or do you not care?
Yeah, it does. They're running out of ideas. I'm tired of seeing damn remakes of everything all damn time.
Oh yeah, that's another big topic I want to talk about. Remakes and nostalgia. This has been like, I would say, the past decade. Yeah. Actually, that's been like the resurgence of not only with, I mean, the movies, video games, pretty much like products in general. They bring back stuff with like Twinkies and all that stuff, like stuff from our childhood. I guess the companies feel like, oh, we can just resell the same thing, but just update it slightly and make it look a bit better, or maybe remake a game. And don't get me wrong, there are plenty of great remakes. Resident Evil 2 was an amazing remake game. But what do you guys think about like
remakes?
I guess just forcing nostalgia for sales onto a consumer.
So, I don't think they're necessarily forcing nostalgia for sales. If you really start thinking about it, like. And I'll put out movies like Lion King and Aladdin, right?
Yeah.
Those are two classic movies that we all watched as kids, probably. And then they just came out with like more so a better updated version of it. But you have to think about the technology that they had back then to produce the movies and the technology that they have now to produce it. Think about it like the first Titanic, I guess you could say too. To me, it's quite unbelievable how they even made the original Titanic without having all that nice updated technology and all that. But that was still at its time, it was the highest selling movie of all time. And you got to like come and think about it. These are classics that people are always going to watch regardless which version it is.
True.
But if you can keep updating it and making it a little bit better, like, I don't necessarily agree that every single remake is better, but if there's ideas to make it a little bit better, and they are slightly different. I mean, the theme and base of the story is kind of the same, but I think if you can keep updating it with a surprise factor, like a wow factor, I think you can still kind of, I don't know, get away with it, I guess you could say. But I don't necessarily think that they're forcing it just for sales or anything.
I don't know. To me, it's like, the way I look at it is like, think of Toy Story 4. That continues the story. They didn't remake the first Toy Story. You know, like they could, because back then that was, like you said, revolutionary technology. Why don't they just remake the first Toy Story with better technology and make it look way better? But they didn't. They continue the series onward. So I feel like, at least to me, I'd rather a series continue onward than to bring back an old like portion of it and redo it. Don't get me wrong, sometimes it's cool, like especially like the very, very primitive stuff, like maybe the first of something, like a game like back on the Sega Genesis, Super Nintendo or something. I would love to see games like that remade into today's standards. But at the same time, it's like, I don't know, like part of me just wants stuff to move on. I don't want to be stuck in the past, you know?
So, I mean, I guess like to continue on your Toy Story like example, I think with Toy Story, it'd be bad to remake the first one before you even finish the series of Toy Story to begin with.
I think Toy Story 3 could have been a perfect ending, though. They could have just remade the first one.
They could have,
instead of making 4.
But Toy Story 4 was great.
Oh, it was good. Yeah. I mean, check out our review for that, by the way. It's on the channel. I don't know. What do you think about that, yo?
I don't mind it. Just because there's more variety to, like, be able to, like, just... It gives you more options to watch and stuff. Yeah. And I get it, you know, because back in the day, you know, people didn't have good ways to, like, actually make, like, movies that we have now. So the fact that they want to go back, and it's all about money also, you know, like they know like, okay, this was a good idea. It sold, you know, a lot of whatever. Let's try to bring it back and try to like make a buttload of money from it, you know. But I'm with my thing is that we don't have like enough original like stuff. Like I don't mind if people want to remake every single thing out there, but as long as there's like an equal proportion of people making original stuff to go along with that stuff, then I don't mind. But if it's all remade, rehashed. Yeah. Then it's like where's the original ideas? Because that's how like we have classics that came up like in the first place, like Mario, Link. You know, we need more like people with original ideas that will kind of like just like blow us away and be like, whoa, this is cool and new. You know. But if people also want to remake old stuff that you know they have nostalgia for, I don't mind it as long as it's good though. Because you know you saw that first trailer of Sonic, that looked garbage, and then people had to say something, and then they finally
for them to actually,
you know what I'm saying? Like
you know what's sad though. The studio that did the remake and redid it, they actually got shut down. I think so like the parent company moved locations and they just shut down that studio because they were like it's not as profitable. But it's like they don't even know if it's gonna be profitable. Movie didn't even come out yet, but they do all that work for no reason. Yeah, and like that's kind of messed up because like now that leaves a bad taste in other movie producers' mouths. Like, oh, if the fans say something and we listen to them, we're just gonna lose money. That's what they're gonna look at, and that just makes me kind of mad, man. Like, I hate when
it's about money.
I hate when the good thing happens and then like there's repercussions for it because like then it makes people not want to continue trying to do those good things. But that just left a bad taste in my mouth.
That's because he's a Sonic fan. That's why he's mad.
Well, that's part of it. But part of it is just like in general, if there was a movie that I hated or a game that I hated, and I spoke out about it, and then the company started to change it, but then the publisher is like, oh, by the way, we're gonna shut that company down after this game comes out, and they're not gonna make anything else. But hey, at least they listened to you that one time. You know, like that. That's just I hate that kind of stuff, man. But that I guess that's just what it comes to when it comes to business. But I mean, honestly, to me, I think we're going into a new decade. We need new ideas, man. We need new stuff to come out, and I can't wait to see like what 2020 to 2030 brings versus what 2010 to 2020 brings. So yeah, I mean, I guess real quick, before we go to our hat time, what do you guys like think is gonna happen the next decade, man? What do you guys think is gonna be the new big thing that's gonna happen? I mean, it could be anything, movies, it could be technology, whatever you guys feel.
So I've been hinging on this topic forever, but I really want to see this industry and the gaming industry spike in a positive direction. But I want to see the virtual reality stuff come like completely together, and I think this might be the decade for it to actually happen. And not only in the gaming, but imagine if they brought like some sort of virtual reality to movies, where like you could it's like kind of like a Vandersnatch thing in Netflix, where like let's say you could be the main character of a movie or something, and then you have your own choices or something like that. So like some virtual reality, yeah. Let's say it's awesome. Like I want to see the virtual reality thing come all together, and like I'd love to be able to play video games and like actually physically be in the game.
Yeah, because like right now it's like you're just wearing a helmet and you don't really feel like you're immersed. I mean, I haven't really tried VR like myself. I tried it like demos and stuff a while ago, but I don't have like a PSVR or Oculus or anything, so I can't really speak on it. But from what I've seen, it's just most of the stuff just looks very clunky still. Like it's like in its infancy. Yeah.
I would like to see it happen, but it's like the movie Ready Player One. Have you guys seen it?
Yeah. I didn't see it, but I want to see it actually. Yeah. I heard there's like Halo cameos in that and stuff. Yeah, pretty cool. What do you think about VR, man?
I think it's cool.
Think it's gonna advance in the next decade?
It should. I don't see why it wouldn't. Maybe in like 5 years. I'm more interested in like self-driving cars because I hate driving. So like I've always hated driving. I can't wait for the day where cars will drive themselves because there's so much time that
they do.
Well, they do, but we need everybody to be able to like have a car that drives itself.
I don't think that a car like will ever be able to fully support itself to drive though, just because technology, like there's always something wrong that could, like, you know.
Well, actually, I think it's Sweden. I brought up Sweden in the last Bukucast, but I think it's Sweden that said they have. It's kind of like a train though. Like the road itself has like these tracks inside the road, and like it hooks onto the bottom of your car, and the car will like automatically change lanes by like unhooking and then moving over and then hooking onto the next one. So like it'll drive itself, but that's the thing, people want to drive fast. They don't want to drive at a slow snail's pace. So you're still getting to where you want to get. They said by 2030 it should be like fully automated roads, but and it like it's fully electric, no gas, so like it charges the car as it's driving with that little whatever's hooked onto it.
Yeah, but do you know the amount of money that's going to have to go into that? And
Most
that's
definitely
going to come out of taxpayers' pockets.
Yeah.
And I don't think in a society like we live in America, it's going to happen.
Oh, in America, definitely not. Like that, I don't think so.
Give it time. It will. It'll happen.
No, you go to Europe and, you know, like things are a little bit more. I'm not trying to get into the topic of like, you know, governments and stuff like that. But if you like look at it, like their government is more fit for things like that to happen, because I think everybody's a little bit more in agreement over there. But, you know, I don't think that will ever happen here in America.
Well, that's an interesting topic. But we're about halfway through the podcast, and you know what that means. Tomorrow, would you take it away for us in the background?
Hornswoggle halftime.
It's time for the Hornswoggle halftime, just like that. So we'll meet you guys back here in a little bit. Now, if you're a sponsor of this and you want to be a sponsor, feel free to email us down below, and you know we could talk about what we can do and work together. But if you're a sponsor, we will read out whatever you want us to right here and right when we get back from the Hornswoggle halftime, and maybe at the beginning and end of the podcast. So if you want to sponsor us or know anyone that wishes to sponsor a podcast, be sure to email us down below. But for now, we'll be back after the Hornswoggle halftime.
Hornswoggle halftime.
All right, guys, we're back from the Hornswoggle halftime, and what were we just talking about? Something about automation or something?
Like VR, I guess.
Yo, mama.
What? This ain't the 90s. We're in 2020 right now, man. Actually, speaking of that, so what do you got? What do we call the 20s? Like, do we call it the 20s? Because like that would be the same as saying the 1920s. Like, what do you guys think about it?
Well,
It's our 20s.
They called it the Rolling 20s back in the 1920s. So,
So
we
what
gotta
we
keep the tradition alive. So
What do they call in the 1820s?
What?
In the 1820s, what was that called?
They didn't care about no damn 1820s. Even they didn't care about their own 1820s.
Whatever. Yeah. Now here's another thing. No, I think we already talked about this last time about like the whole. I feel like the world's going by faster and everything in terms of time. But I guess okay. Do you think this is gonna be? I guess going back to that, do you think there's gonna be a lot more advancement from 2020 to 2030 than there was from 2010 to 2020?
Definitely.
Like in general, I'm not talking about one specific thing.
Yeah, I think definitely development wise, like just I just look at it back like how technology was when we first were born, I guess, or growing up and
90s.
things. Yeah. And I think technology right now is that industry that can change everything. It allows us to do so many things. Like if you think about it, we're so dependent on the technology that I think there's just going to be continuous improvements with technology that is going to help us and facilitate our lives really with everything. Like we look through the weather technology, like we put up things up in space and it's all based off technology. We play video games and that's technology. Like I literally don't even go to my phone anymore and like manually set alarms. I can just ask Siri to do it for me. Like, you know, oh, yo, do this for me, play some music for me. You know, so I think we're just a society that's very dependent on technology, like, and that's for everything you do. You don't have to be somebody who games or somebody who continuously is on their phone, but literally, like, when you go to work, what do you use? You use technology anyways.
Usually a computer.
Yeah, a computer, you know, you use things like Apple, you know, they do transactions in their Apple stores with iPhones, with iPads, and everything like that. You see a whole bunch of, you know, back then it was like just a nice little cash register that you could just, you know, input the number that it was and then take out cash. And now it's just like, dude, I can pay with my phone. I can just go up to the cash register and put Apple Pay or something like that.
That's true.
I think the technology is just continuously improving so much to the point where, like, that's just the only thing that humans are going to try to improve. And based off of those improvements, we're just going to facilitate life in general.
Well, I still feel like it's kind of like not really a ceiling, but more so it's definitely improving, but the improvements are less noticeable. Like, okay, bringing it back to games again because I love video games. Think about like PlayStation 2, GameCube, Wii, going to 360 and PS3. Like, the graphical upgrade was so amazingly great. Then you go into PS4 and Xbox One. Like, most people didn't even really notice the difference at first. People were like, you know, the jump from the older generation to 360 and PS3 was amazing. Then the jump from those consoles to PS4 and onward were just not as amazing. And it's the same with phones. Like, every year, yeah, the new phone has like maybe one key new feature. But back then, remember when like the first touchscreen phone came out, the first iPhone, everyone was like, holy crap, like this is literally like a new technology.
Yeah.
But after that, it's just been, oh, look, now this new phone has a fingerprint scanner. That's cool. This new phone has a face recognition. That's cool. But it's still the same technology that we're using. So I guess what I'm saying is, do you feel like the technology, while it's advancing, is more minuscule in terms of advancements rather than being like just a big jump like it usually has been?
I agree. I can see where you're coming from, but I think that's like purposely done.
Yeah,
because
I do too.
I think that the technology that it would blow us away, it does exist, but they just want to trickle it down instead of just throwing it out to society, because I think it's all, at the end of the day, it's just money.
Yes,
I hate bringing that up.
If you weren't gonna bring it up, I was just right there next to you because, like you said, like that technology does exist where like they could wow us right now with any new technology that they if they wanted to, but it comes down to money, and it's like, we're not just gonna put all of our apples out there for you guys all in one, because if you think about it, like the new iPhone, it just increases in price. I'm a big iPhone guy. You know, I tried Samsung once and I didn't like it. Nothing against Samsung, still great things.
Phone explodes, yo.
But you know, no, but you know, I love the iPhone, and if you think about it, each year the iPhone increases in price, and they add just maybe a small feature to it, like you said. But they do have the technology, and I do truly believe that, to make it like, wow, like this is something.
So you're saying they could make a giant jump, they choose not to.
Yeah, and it all comes down to money. Like
damn, dude.
Yeah, wow. and I think that too. But in terms of video games, like you said, from the PS3 to the PS4, Xbox 360 to the Xbox One, I did see like a pretty big change, but I also think you have to be updating constantly everything else. Like, you can't game on a 720 pixel. You know, like I have a 4K TV in my room set up for PS4, for my Xbox and my Switch. And if you go, and I had a 1080 before that, and I used to play my PS4 on the 1080, but once I got the 4K, I'm like, holy shit, like, you know, this is something else.
No, I mean, like, I'm just thinking, like, you remember Guitar Hero 3?
Yeah.
That one came out on the PS2, Wii, and the 360.
Yeah.
And I was like, I played it on the PS2 and the Wii I was gonna get it for the Wii, and then like I saw Brian's when he had the 360 first, and went over to his house, and I was like, dude, why did the graphics look so good on this? Yeah. But I think you're right. It's also the TV too, because like he had an HD TV. I still had the old one literally sitting right over there.
Yeah.
That I was in my room, and that's what I was using. So like, I get what you're saying. Like, part of it is what you have as the consumer to also see that change. But at the same time, it's like, we have literally 3 cameras here. One of them is way less potent than the others, but they all definitely get the job done. They all do the same thing. It's just one looks a little better. So I also feel like it could potentially be the manufacturer too, like Apple versus like another company. They could be putting out something better. I don't know. Like, in general, that kind of sucks, dude. Just knowing that it's all for money.
Well, yeah, and it is all for money. Same thing goes with like consoles and TVs. It's like, I'm very sure that there's a lot of things that they could be doing better to release things. But
Yeah.
it comes down like, okay, let's make it a little bit better this year just so we can still raise up the price. And you can see it because so I'm in supply chain, right? Like the manufacturing that goes into a lot of these things, the cost is not a lot for it, but the retail price is. And that's where they make all their profit. That's where their profit margins are.
So do they like mark it up?
Yeah, they mark it up. But that's why when the new one, like they by the time they come out with the new one and the old TVs are, they're marked down in price.
Black Friday.
Yeah, they're still marked down in price, but even with that markdown, they've already made all their money up with the other TVs that they've sold, that they can afford the markdown yet still make a profit off of that markdown. And that's companies like Best Buy and like I don't know if there's still Circuit Cities around, like things like those types of stores. Those are the ones that are still making money off of it. Those are the ones with the markdowns, because like Samsung, for example, they've already made all their money when they sell it to those
Crazy.
stores. But yeah, like they can afford that kind of stuff. And then once the new TVs with like one or two better features, maybe a better resolution or whatever, they come out, and then it's mind blowing, but not really. But I mean, I just wanted to touch back to the thing where you said about PS3 to PS4 or Xbox 360 to the Xbox One. I think you also have to continuously start buying new technology to benefit from gaming, because like for me, I'm big on like being home and watching movies or like playing games. And I love having that stuff. So when I have my TV set up, I also have a surround system to support it.
That's also true. Sometimes like the music or the sound effects, you're like, oh man, this could sound so much better. But then it's because you don't have the technology for it.
And my sound bar, like I can change the modes. Like if I'm watching a movie, I can put it in movie mode. If I'm watching sports, I'll put it in sports mode. But like you have to have those things to support it, or else you're not gonna feel the full effect of it. And I think that's where like you've noticed the change more. You're talking more so graphic wise and stuff like that, but I think you also have to have the TVs to support it and like everything else to support it.
That's true. Okay, one more topic before we end this show, because it's getting a bit long over here. Kind of going back to the money thing in terms of stuff. So this is more so with video games.
Money is power. It controls the entire world.
This is more so video games, but it also is being done with like other things like concerts and whatever. I know that you've probably at least seen this. Well, we all seen this because we bought the characters for Smash Bros. What do you guys think about DLC, microtransactions, that type of stuff in games, where you buy a full game, full price, $60, and then they hit you with, hey, there's a season pass, hey, there's an extra like set of characters you can buy, and all this stuff. I want to hear Kito's thoughts on this.
DLC?
Yeah, just DLC, microtransactions, stuff that you got to
Season
buy
passes,
after
like
the game that you've already bought.
I don't like them. I mean, I hate spending extra money than I do.
But like, do you feel like they could have just they could have either number one included it, or number two delayed the game for like till next year? Or is it because they want to meet holiday season, and then we'll just put the game in, we'll just put it in later for an extra $5, $10, $30 in terms of freaking Kingdom Hearts? Screw that game, by the way. Kingdom Hearts 3, $30 for DLC, but that's not the story. But no, what do you think about like fighting games? Smash Bros. Do you care that you're paying $25
He didn't
for
mean
5 more
that.
characters?
He didn't mean that. Kingdom Hearts is awesome.
Because I mean, I could see both arguments to it. I mean, somebody who doesn't want to spend the money could say, okay, I don't mind waiting the extra year to have all the characters. But honestly, if it was me, I wouldn't mind the game coming out earlier, even if all the characters weren't available. Just because it's you get to play the game sooner. I mean, it's tough because like I don't know, because for example, Super Smash Brothers is such a fun game. Like if somebody told me like, okay, like you either get to play the game now and have to pay extra for DLC, like for extra characters, or you have to wait another year and a half or whatever to get all the characters, I probably would say give me the game now. I'd probably take that L just because I'd get it sooner. And maybe that's just due to like society now and people wanting things now. Maybe like we've been groomed to that, and maybe that's what DLC is kind of like getting towards. It's like, oh, we gotta have things now and people can't wait, and they'd rather spend the money on it than wait.
Okay, well, how about I do a comparison? Tekken 7. The DLC for that, there's 3 separate DLCs. The first one was fine because it's new characters. Same as Smash Bros. New characters. These have never been in the game before, never been in a previous game. Second DLC of Tekken 7. They bring back old characters from Tekken 3, 4, Lei and Anna and Marduk and all those characters. They bring those characters back, put one new character, which is Negan from Walking Dead, which by that point, Walking Dead was not even popular anymore. Do you care when they like bring back old stuff into a newer game and make you pay for it?
Yeah,
Whereas
that's a little different because I'm with Pokemon, for example. I feel like that's what they're gonna do with the new Pokemon games. Because, like for example, it's like over 800 Pokemon that are supposed to be in the game, but they're not. It's like half. And my fear is that they're gonna charge us for like Pokemon that already exists. But
I mean, it's in the game.
It's
been proven.
They're in the game, but they just, for whatever reason, they didn't have the time to put them all in or whatever. I don't know.
My stance on it is I paid $60 for that disc, that cartridge, whatever it is. Whatever's on there, I don't care if it's incomplete. When you complete it, I paid for that. I deserve to have it because I paid money for that product. If it's like something you're developing from the ground up, like Smash Bros, I'm more... I guess I'd be more lenient on it because at that point it's a new thing you're developing from the ground up. They make a whole new stage, they make new music, they compose new stuff for that.
So you want
stuff.
every little thing from like Tekken that they made to be in the new game, like not just like
basically
old characters.
Well, I think what he's saying is once he pays for the hard copy or digital copy, whatever it is, once the new stuff comes out, he should be able to get it for free because of the fact that he's already paid for the disc in the game itself. But if I'm gonna put my opinion in, I'm gonna disagree with a lot of the things, just because, well, one, I think Super Smash Bros. Did a great job. First off, just because we've already talked about it, because for me, like being a Super Smash Bros. Fan, like I paid for that edition where I paid the $90 so that I can get the DLC characters as soon as they come out.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
I knew exactly what I was doing. In terms of like season passes and stuff, like you said, like Fortnite, for example, or Call of Duty.
Fortnite's terrible.
And I think this is it. Like you're gonna get new things. You're putting new things into the game. Those are all things that are gonna make you money. You have to think of it from a business perspective too. You got to be able to be profitable in order to keep your employees paid and all that stuff.
But sometimes they push it though.
Which I guess
that's part of it. Can I ask you a question though? Don't people still buy it?
Yeah,
that's the problem.
The fans.
All right, well
that's the problem.
It's not a problem. In my opinion, that's the company being smart. Like people are gonna buy it anyways. Somebody who doesn't want to buy it's not gonna buy it, and they're still gonna play the game regardless.
But then here's my question: if you're gonna charge extra for DLC anyways, why not just mark the retail price up by $10 more?
Nobody would buy it.
But they did that when 360 and PS3 came out. Games used to be $50. Now they're $60.
And then the PS3 didn't sell it.
It's the same with 360. They both marked that up to $60. Games used to be $50 back in the PS2 days.
They did. But so in terms of DLC stuff, right? Like what you said with Tekken, right? They brought back characters. They had to add new stuff to games. That's still all from a business. I'm talking from a business perspective. If I'm the company that's making these games, I'm thinking, well, all that work that took to put those characters into the games, maybe new apparel, new everything, new game modes, let's say too, right? Like you're paying people in your business to do that work for you. You have to profit off of it somehow.
That's true. But that's also why I like... I'm not disagreeing with the Smash Bros. Thing. I like the way Smash Bros. Did it.
Yeah.
Because Sakurai, literally the creator of Smash Bros., he literally said before the game came out, look, usually if it's something like this, I'd want you guys to know what you're getting into, but I'm letting you know this will be $25. You're getting 5 characters. We can't announce exactly what the 5 characters are, but you're going to get a stage with each. You're going to get music with each.
Yeah.
That, I think, is the perfect way to do it because you're letting the consumer know. Tekken 8 should have been out by now. I don't care what anyone says. I don't care how popular it is as a fighting game scene right now, how it's making the company money. Tekken 8 should have been out by now, and with all this new stuff. Because after the first season pass, they had Tekken Bowl. They put that back in. They put Geese in. They put the dude from Final Fantasy 15, Noctis. And I was like, that's cool. I'm fine with that. But at that point, when they're going to start adding back Lei and all those people, and Anna and Marduk and Julia.
You shouldn't have to pay for them.
At that point, you should have just made that Tekken 8. They even put new mechanics into the game, which think about Tekken 5 to Tekken 6. They had that like whole new bouncing system and like new combo system. That is reserved for a new game. And that's one thing that I really fear with games in general is that they like to make it as what do they call it? It's like games, not games for profit. It's like basically you release a game and just continuously build on that rather than release a game, then next year release another game, you know? Because like I guess at the end of the day, it does cost more manpower, it costs more marketing, all that stuff. But at the end of the day, like to me as a consumer, it's messed up. That's just my look on it.
So if you're like going into the topic, it kind of like brought something else into my mind, and I just want to know your opinions on this.
Okay.
What about like games that do come out every single year, and they tend to be the same game?
FIFA.
So like
So I'm saying like
FIFA,
FIFA, Madden,
sports
NBA, sports games and stuff like that.
Yeah, those aren't for me. And personally, like those games, like if you try to sell your copy of FIFA 18 right now, you're gonna get like 5 cents for it. No one cares.
Yeah, and I have every single FIFA from 2006 till present.
I agree with that.
The same.
If it's a
They're
game,
not all the same, but lately, like, you know, you get like 2 or 3 years that it's like, okay, it's the same things. Like,
yeah.
But they're running out of things, I think, too, to put into these games.
Dude, they're making an NCAA football game.
Yeah, and they're bringing it back. Like
that's so dumb if you ask me.
All right. If it's a game, here's my thing. If it's a game that has a yearly thing, even like Assassin's Creed and that stuff, the game comes out every year, but for some of those games, like I would say COD. I haven't played COD in a while, but
you should.
They have. Yeah, I probably should get back into it, but they have 3 separate teams working on it, so it's not like the game. And especially with COD, it's different because every game is developed by a different company.
Yeah.
You can tell like the Black Ops versus the Modern Warfare versus that type of stuff. It's because it's different teams, and they are pushing the games out every year. But Modern Warfare just came out past year. I'm sure that whoever's working on Black Ops Treyarch, I think, they've been working on the game since probably 2017 because whenever the last Black Ops launched.
At least Modern Warfare didn't make you pay for new stuff, new maps. Like
that's
the
good.
old maps, Shipment and Vacant just came out like 2-3 weeks ago. You didn't have to pay for them.
My entire point is though that games that come out on a yearly schedule, if it's something like a sports game, yeah, I can see it because they also make you pay for the Ultimate Team or whatever it is.
Yeah, so the Ultimate Team you don't have to pay. You can choose to invest your money. I would never do that.
But see, that's the other thing I think. I think Street Fighter 5 did this. I don't know how well they do it because I didn't play it. If they just let those things be unlockable, even if they took a long time to unlock, if stuff was unlockable and it's optional to pay for it, I would never have a problem with any type of DLC. Sure, it'll take me a long time to get it, and if, like you said, if you're on Lakita's mindset of the society that just wants everything here and now, you can pay for it. You can get it right away.
Like with your coins in Smash, where you can buy new music and stuff like that.
Yeah, like if they put skins in Smash, like they put new colors for every character, and you could buy them with real money or unlock them through the game. I'm sure a lot of people would buy them right away, and I wouldn't have a problem with them being on sale because at that point, who cares? I can get it
still
myself.
get it, yeah.
I don't want every single one. I only want like a specific one. So let me just buy that specific one with the money in the game. But that's just my thoughts on it. But I don't know. We're running a little late here, but I think that was a pretty good discussion. I mean, maybe we can continue this thing on the next episode of the Bukucast, which may be a bit sooner than later. You never know. But hope you guys enjoyed this episode of the Bukucast. Hey Jason, hopefully you enjoyed being a part of this.
Yeah, it's good to be back and back in action with the Gobuku cast. And
2020.
We're over here in the studios. I think this is the first podcast of 2020, right?
Yeah.
Well, I just want to say Happy New Year to everybody out there watching. Make sure you definitely look down, subscribe, like our videos, and share everything else. But it feels good to be back, and it's always nice to be back with the crew.
And we also had Kito with us here today.
Yes, it's been a while since I've been back, but it feels good. So hopefully more Buku videos coming up sooner rather than later.
I mean, there might be something coming up very soon, but we got some stuff to do. So until next time, we'll see you on the next episode of the Bukucast. I'm Ben RZ. We've been at the Gobuku Studios, and we'll catch you guys in the next one. See ya.
Later.
Follow us on social media.
What am I gonna be doing, man?